Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're all having a lovely day. So I've been getting inundated with emails over this new Home Depot shoplifting fighting technology. Admittedly, I'm getting to this a little bit late. I do get a lot of emails since I've made my email address public to 1.7 million people. I do read them. I don't always respond immediately. I tend to classify them because if I didn't, I would literally spend 24 hours a day responding to emails, and I get to them when I can get to them. My apologies for getting to this a little bit late, but it's talking about how Home Depot wants to fight shoplifting of power tools. And I wanted to share this with you and give you some of my thoughts. I don't think that this is going to be as effective as they think it will, and I'd like to explain why. So I'm going to play this and we'll watch it together.
Getting locked, and there are more surveillance cameras in the aisles.
Smile, you're being recorded.
And if a shoplifter runs out with a stolen power tool, good luck.
In a lot of our stores we're piloting right now some state-of-the-art technology that uses Bluetooth so that if you don't pay for this, if you don't scan it and go through the register, it won't even turn on.
You're kidding me.
We want people to know that the value in this is in its ability to work. And if it's not even going to work, it's not worth stealing.
It's just a heavy box.
So there are a few assumptions that I think are inherent in this that are most likely going to result in this being a worthless exercise. The first is that the person who is stealing this is doing research prior to stealing to figure out if it's a good idea to do the theft. Now, there are two different types of theft that I think you can combat here. The first is large-scale theft. So this would be where people are going into Home Depot, stealing 100 power tools each and every single day like clockwork, and then reselling them on Amazon, eBay, or Craigslist. If you want to stop somebody who has a plan, I'm going to take 100 of this particular product each day and resell it on this platform, then this may be something that will stop that because it takes away the incentive structure to do that if you're seeking repeat business or if you're seeking to do this regularly. If you're talking about your standard average thief that walks into a store, like does this and like, I don't know, sneaks this under here and runs away, I don't think that you're going to be discouraging that person at all. The reason I don't think you're going to be discouraging that person is because the type of person who's going to just steal some random cheap power tool out of a store is admittedly not the most intelligent and most likely not somebody that's doing research to figure out whether or not it's a good idea to do that before stealing. One example I'd like to provide is with the iPhone. I think it could be argued that the iPhone is one of the single most popular, well-known portable gadgets across the entire world. Almost everybody on Earth knows what an iPhone is and has a basic idea of what its functions are, even if they don't like it, even if they don't use it, even if they haven't had one in their home. They know what an iPhone is. I think this has some of the best penetration when it comes to, not non-tech people understanding what it is and how it works. In spite of that, and in spite of the fact that they have iCloud lock and all these features that are designed to deter theft, they are still stolen on a regular basis. Regardless of the fact that they will be rendered virtually useless, they are still stolen on a regular basis by people who have no concept of how these features work. One example of this is just from Erica's community page. My girlfriend posted saying that when somebody that she knows had a phone stolen, he has a taxi cab, and the phone was taken out of the car. What makes this particularly interesting is not only the fact that iPhones, I think, are far better known amongst the average ordinary people for having anti-theft features than a power tool in Home Depot, which did not deter him, but that he did this inside of a taxi. Many taxis nowadays, in fact, most that I've been in, whether they're Ubers or yellow cabs, have a little notice on them in writing that says you are being recorded. And when I get in the cab, I can see that there is a camera there recording me. So this person had a camera recording his face, had all the means to know that this was happening, and still chose to steal a device that is going to be functionally useless and worthless if when he goes to actually sell it or use it, and he did it anyway. And the reason that I believe this happened is because your average thief is just not very smart. And even if he is, he's not acting smart in the particular moment that he chooses to steal some cheap power tool or an iPhone out of a cab that has a camera in it. I don't know how else to put this. Thieves are not doing the research to figure out before they steal something whether or not it's worth it. They're not doing the research to figure out if it has an activation lock on it. They're not reading the box to read that one of the features of it is that it's not going to work unless you check out at the register. I don't think that this is actually going to work. You are assuming a level of intelligence, forethought, and planning among common everyday thieves that just fundamentally is not there. This is an argument that I used to have when it came to me locking up my bicycle. I would have people that say, I can't believe you think that's secure. And I go, no, it's pretty secure. And then they would send me a link to the lock picking lawyer picking the exact lock that I was picking. And it just blew my mind, because I would have to explain to them that the type of person who is going to be disciplined enough, smart enough, and who really just kind of has that desire to better themselves to the point of sitting down and spending hours upon hours learning how to pick locks, that type of person does not need to steal a bicycle that has a resale value of $120 on the used market. The type of person with the mindset necessary to learn that skill is either A, going to do some really big shit like rob a bank, or B, probably has the ability in the market to be able to make themselves enough that they don't need to take the risk of going to prison for stealing a shitty rusty bike that I was locking outside my apartment at the time. Just because the lock-picking lawyer knows it does not mean that the average everyday thief knows it, and I've never had a thief pick that particular lock because, again, the type of person that just walks around Bushwick looking to steal a bicycle is not the lock-picking lawyer. This is not something that I think is going to work well. Now, if you're talking about taking measures that make it more difficult to pick up the item at the store, I can understand that. So, for instance, when it comes to razor blades for popular shavers, like, I don't know, all these Gillette popular razors and shavers, there are many stores where you need to pay at the register, and then after you pay at the register, they'll actually give it to you because they are so rampantly stolen. These are anti-theft measures that I think might actually work. Again, they piss off the consumer. They may result in less business. They may result in somebody going to a competitor or just saying, screw it, I'm just going to buy this stuff on Amazon because this is a pain in the ass to deal with. But at the very least, I could understand that working because it keeps you from getting the product, and you know that it's going to keep you from getting the product. You don't have to do research to figure it out. Like it just says, ask cashier and we will give this to you. But I don't see how that works with this. Again, maybe if you make the entire box say this will not work unless you check out, perhaps. But I've met thieves. I've known thieves. I used to work in an environment where, unfortunately, because I could not afford better for myself, I was surrounded by just not particularly the best people, and I was around people and acquainted with people that did shit like this, and they were just, again, they're not the type of people that are reading the features in the box. They're not putting a lot of forethought or planning into what it is they are doing. And the second way I wanted to come at this from was there's something weird about the direction that we're going in. Like, for instance, when it came to a lot of the thefts that were happening in stores, I've heard people suggest that online marketplaces should be more regulated to deal with the fact that people are selling stolen stuff. Rather than address it at the level of the theft occurring, we're addressing it at the level of regulating online marketplaces. Let's make it more inconvenient for normal, average, everyday, law-abiding citizens to be able to do things freely because of pricks. Let's make it more inconvenient for everybody, rather than just focusing on trying to fix the problem of rampant thefts in these stores. Let's actually just screw with online marketplaces later. And I don't like that, and this seems to be a step in that direction. Again, now to be clear, it's not like if I bought this illegally that you're limiting my functionality of the drill in any way, shape, or form. I understand that. And I realize that this is clearly on the slippery slope fallacy here. But there's now some sort of thing inside of my drill that says whether or not it's allowed to work because other people are assholes. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Again, I've worked on enough MacBooks to understand that a company that is worth over $2 trillion, I'm fully aware of just how many design flaws can be present in that product. I am fully aware of just how much they can fuck up basic things like just making a laptop where you can do this without the screen cable breaking, or they added a T2 chip that's supposed to be for your security on a lot of the new models, and this very T2 chip is the chip that winds up dying in many of the logic boards that are brought to me that then become unfixable. I'm aware of all the things that companies do for security that make their products more complicated, that simultaneously make those products more likely to break or malfunction in some way, shape, or form. And at the end of the day, even if there's a 0.000000001% chance of this ever malfunctioning to the point where something that I purchased no longer works, there's just something there in principle to but the idea that I've purchased something and there is programming, whether it is source code or whether it's a chip in there in some way, shape, or form, that doesn't serve me. That functionality in there that allows the device to not work or work based on what the store said, that doesn't serve me. That doesn't make the device better for me as a customer. That doesn't make the device more reliable to me. That doesn't make it drill better. There's something in there that can affect whether or not it works, that is there for the benefit of the store, not for my benefit. And I recognize that to an extent we've kind of accepted that in many parts of our lives, in computers, in cars, and even this computer, because it uses a processor that has Intel's management engine on it that I can't get rid of. But I don't like it. Like, I just feel, again, I completely understand that I'm on the slippery slope fallacy here. And if it wasn't for everything that I've just seen happen over the last 1 or 2 or 3 years, I probably wouldn't care as much. But I don't know. I don't like it. It feels icky. It feels weird. I can't tell you why it feels icky or weird. It just does. And at the end of the day, I don't believe that this is going to help stop petty theft. I do think it would stop people from stealing 100 drills from the store with the purpose of reselling it, because those people are actually putting forethought into it. They are putting planning. That is organized crime to that extent. But the type of petty thief that's just going to, steal a couple of razors here and there, take a bottle of Windex, steal a USB reader or something like that. It's just like, I just, for the thrill of it, I just don't think that you're going to stop them from stealing things with this particular piece of technology. But I'm very curious to hear what you think in the comments down below. And I also look forward to the people who are going to say, how dare you say that the thieves are not very smart? The thieves are just doing that to, buy a loaf of bread to feed their family or something. That's always driven me nuts, because again, this is purely anecdotal. And I recognize this is purely anecdotal. So save me that this is purely anecdotal. But like, when I actually got to be around people, or I had to be around people who were criminals, or were people that kind of took pride in breaking the law and taking shit and stuff like that. Something that drove me nuts is that when people would try to defend it or say, listen, okay, they shouldn't have done that, but they only really did it because they're a victim of the horrible capitalist system, and until we fix everything, we can kind of understand it. They laughed at this type of stuff. Like, they loved hearing people rationalize away what they were doing. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew they didn't have to do it. They did it anyway. So I've always kind of had a bit of aggravation when I see people just kind of rationalize away all this type of stuff. And then, well, it's wrong they did that, but I'm kind of tired of hearing the but. Like, am I allowed to say that? Like, I'm just tired of there being a but on the end of that. It's not that difficult to just not steal random crap from Home Depot. And again, the more people that say this is okay because of this, that, and the other, the more we are going to have these types of asinine anti-theft measures, the more we are going to have people calling for more regulation of online marketplaces than there already is. That's going to make it more annoying for people like you and I to be able to sell on those online marketplaces, as if it's not annoying enough already dealing with Amazon and eBay. And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that there are chips inside of something I've purchased. There is functionality inside something I bought that is only there because we have such a large swath of people that are now stealing things and being pricks. Like, I have to have technology, and I don't like that. I don't like where that's going. What if the functionality that does that fails as often as a T2 chip in a MacBook? That would suck. Can you imagine your drill dying because again, not this drill. Let's not say this drill. Let's say another company that makes the Apple of drills has this inside of there, and they have a security chip that just dies and kills itself for no reason. You put it under the thermal cabinet, it heats up to like 80 Celsius or something when you plug in the charger, and then nothing else works. Because that never happens with really with companies that make really high-end electronics that have been in business for 40 years or anything like that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that it is right that I just feel kind of weird about this? Or do you think that I am so far off into the slippery slope fallacy that I am just now a crazy conspiracy theorist? I'm curious. I await your comments below. See you in the next video. Bye now.